What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stoked podcast, episode 46. Wow, we have been doing this for quite a while. Um, I'm so tired, y'all. I feel like I've been on I've been on like a bunch of podcasts today and yesterday. So I'm like talked out. um, but how y'all doing? I hope y'all having a good week. I hope everything is working. I hope those that are grinding are grinding. And welcome to another episode. I am Javon Stokes. If you don't know, I am writer, artist, creator of Heat and Strong independent comic books, as well as an animator. And well, I said writer already, and graphic designer. I am a man of many hats, but I am the host. I have a co-host. He is. Oh, he just popped in. He just wanted to get an introduction. Welcome to educator and writer and first editor at Visually Stoked Media, Jamari Stokes. Why are you giving the profile? Give him the. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So, welcome everybody. Our guest is not here yet, so that's okay. As I said, I've been talking all day, so I'm gonna keep talking. But we have a very special guest today. When at some point, I'm gonna check in to see if he's okay. We originally had one guest, and then I had to kind of adjust because the original guest was not able to be on. Just reaching out to him, but yeah, how was your week, Jamari? How's it going, man?
It's not been bad. Not been bad. I've been keeping up with and I'm sure this is nothing to you, but the D&D licensing issues that has been going on, and trying to keep up with the new Last of Us television show.
I did watch that. I did. I watched it.
As someone who did not play the game, I'm curious. What did you think?
So I talked about this on top 5, but I can go into it here while we wait for our guest. We will kill time because we are the killers of time. We are the murderers of time. That's an amazing name. I'm gonna remember that.
I was about to say that sounds like a good comic.
Name. That's a really good comic. That I said it here first. If I see anybody, I want money. I don't know anything about the game, as I said on top 5. I don't know anything about the game. I did think it was interesting how, because there's so many zombie TV shows and movies and books and everything.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got their reason for how zombies became. I thought theirs were interesting, and from what the show kind of shows and hints at, and from what the previews show, is almost like they're different kinds of zombies based on like different kinds of fungus, stuff like that.
Go ahead.
But I thought that was interesting. The central conceit is pretty good. Guy trying to make amends. I try not to spoil it for people, but I mean, it's a video game. Like you can Wikipedia.
The story has been out for about
right. It's a long time. So, but guy trying to make amends for losing his daughter is always going to be a good hook, especially for me being a parent. But I thought it was good. It's an interesting because, and I said this on top 5. I had started binge watching The Walking Dead, so the comparison, the comparison between the two is it's like night and day. I mean, I thought Walking Dead was kind of bleary, but The Last of Us is depressing. Like that version of the world is depressing as all get out.
It's bleak as hell.
It is bleak as hell. But I mean, it was entertaining. So again, great, really good start. Can't wait to see more.
I was impressed. I had to divorce my mind about what they did, changes from the game versus what they did here. I honestly think they improved on some things, and it, as someone who really likes studying media and storytelling, what it took to make the story work better on television, to make it, as opposed to what it took to be to make it work in the video game, I thought was an interesting thing to look at and kind of dissect, because it's a really good show, and it just shows that this was a really good story. It's easily this is, as a game, it's one of my favorite storytelling games, especially the opening of it, which they
Oh yeah, the opening was great.
that in the game, the way it plays out is so shocking and so engrossing that you're just like, what in the actual hell is happening on this screen? So kudos. I'm really really want to see what this is going to all unfold to look like, since they're telling the story, and they're telling the story in a space that wasn't what in a space that's different than what it was initially created for.
Yeah, I mean the beginning was pretty was pretty intense. The girl who I didn't realize until I saw it on Facebook or Instagram, I can't remember, but is what's her name's daughter?
The woman from Westworld, I can't remember
Yeah,
her name. She's a well-known actress.
yeah,
That's her daughter.
but she looks just like her. Like the faces she was making, I was like, wow, that's definitely
I've seen her before.
Yeah, that's definitely her mama. But she did a really good job. Just seeing the ish hit the fan with zombies is always fun to watch. Like, if we're being honest, um, it's always a fun thing to see the different variations on how badly we would handle it. Because it's always true. Like, especially if nothing else, the last few years have shown me that we would do a piss poor
terrible job dealing with zombies.
Dealing with zombies, and
as a society, we are screwed. Any kind of epidemic.
So I didn't know that it was like present time, like the way that they had it was like the zombies have been around for like 20 years.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know that.
Interesting other thing.
I thought that was a nice twist.
The fungal thing that this is all created for, it's based off of something that actually exists. The description that the doctor uses at the very beginning about the fungus that takes over ants, that's a real thing.
No, I know that. I actually know that.
Okay.
Which I thought was a nice, once again, it's nice twists on the whole thing. It's really nice twists, and it was really entertaining. Yeah, like I'm in it. I'm in for it. I'm good for. I like zombie movies and zombie whatever. I always tell people, like, I don't care what's gonna happen. I'm gonna survive. Like, like, real talk. Hold on, Savion came in. Hey, what's up, Savion? How you doing? Yeah, we talking about The Last of Us. We're waiting for our guest to come on. So, we're killing a little bit of time. Hopefully he remembered, because he was a last minute addition. But if not, we'll talk for a little bit and then go on about our business. So did you watch any of the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know, because sometimes you be acting like football doesn't exist to you.
Well, football makes me angry, but yeah, I still enjoy the sport. I thought this was very interesting with this wild card setup. They had so many divisional rivalry games in this setup, and that, I think, because these teams have already played twice this year, so those games were some of those games were way closer than you expected them to be. I can't lie, I was kind of hoping the Ravens would pull that out. I think they would have pulled it out if they'd had Lamar Jackson, but that wasn't gonna.
Yeah, Joe Burrow ain't exactly play like Joe Burrow. Yeah,
a couple people didn't play perfectly, but here's the thing about those guys: Burrow, Mahomes, Josh Allen. They're good enough that even when there's a lot of mistakes on the team, they make up for it at some point. And when you've got a guy like that, that tends to be the big difference, and that was the difference in both that game, and in terms of the Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah, that Bill the I will say this: the Buffalo Bills were very lucky that that
Tua wasn't
Tua
in the game.
wasn't playing because actually they're lucky that the rate that the Dolphins got Butterfingers. Like Jalen Waddle dropped he dropped a sure touchdown, as sure a touchdown as you can imagine. Um, he dropped a sure touchdown as well as another deep pass that could have put 3 points on the board at least. I mean, they were Butterfingers. They didn't do their quarterback no service. Um,
So
and then the Jacksonville game, like I said, I would have fired that coach. Nothing against him. He's a nice guy. He probably is a nice guy, but you can't lose a game when you're up 27 to what, 7 at the half. Like you can't. Like that's not a game that you should be able to lose and keep your job. I mean, unless you gotta, the only way you can lose that game, and keep your job is if you have already become won a Super Bowl or two.
probably, and the Chargers are always like everybody's sexy pick to go somewhere every year, and it's been this way since the LaDainian Tomlinson era. So they always get a lot of talent. They always have good skill players. Their roster is always interesting, and no, inevitably they always draw attention because they've either got somebody or some bodies that make people think, oh, these guys could make a run.
But they
And
could though. The Chargers could, but they're honestly, if Mike Williams, I think his name is Mike Williams, the other wide receiver, the other really good deep threat wide receiver, if he didn't get hurt in the last season of the game in a game that didn't matter, it did not matter, and the coach still had him out there, and he got hurt, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's not good coaching. And again, you can't lose a game when you're up 27 to 7. Like it's unfathomable to me.
I'm never shocked when the Chargers find a way to lose a game. It makes me look in the mirror, and I hate that people did that whole thing where they made the Falcons logo the same color with the Chargers light logo.
Yeah.
That I was like, leave us out of it. Let them
Chargers.
enjoy their own misery.
Yeah, but your misery, unfortunately, you guys set the gold standard. I mean,
so regardless of the fact, I understand that.
I don't know. I don't know what else you
I'll
want.
take the blame. We'll wear our scarlet letter, but don't add anybody else to our misery. You know,
Danny and Kevin Chapman want to change the name of the show. We're not calling ourselves Different Stokes Podcast. I don't want. You know what? I'll tell you the biggest reason why I'm not changing the name. I don't want to change the name to Different Stokes Podcast because I don't want people thinking that the podcast is all about the damn show with a different stroke.
Oh dear God, no.
It'll be like, oh, is that about? Are you guys
a recap show?
Recapping the show, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I know.
The only way I see that would working is if we were literally just doing it.
And then on top of that, I heard that, and I'm sure you have. I heard that my entire life. People making fun of my name that
early on, yeah. Probably, yeah. When I was younger, I'm sure I heard that.
I mean, I heard that. I be stroking. Like I heard that one, the stupid song that I actually hate. I hate that strong.
What is it about?
I don't know. People just want to put an R in our last
name. Everyone wants to find some way to like butcher it, throw it in with something else.
They want to put the R in there.
Oh my gosh.
They always want to put the R in there.
I have students that want to do this. They want to do that, or just want to say your name in some weird fashion. So I've
Don't get me wrong. I love our last name. See, Danny? See, now I'm going to just start making fun of your last name. Quick is a very easy one to make fun of, but I won't do that. I'm just saying. But yeah, like it was a lot of like weird football being played. Like just dumb football. Like the Chargers were being dumb. Who else was being dumb?
Minnesota, of course, they lost their game as
Jesus.
Which was that in any way a surprise?
No, not really. But I mean, they played defense. They played defense like they didn't know Daniel Jones was going to run. Like they played defense like, you know, oh wait, he's going to run. Like, I don't know. So we're sitting here, we're talking. If you guys have any questions, like let us know before we get to another topic. Oh, okay. I have a question.
Well, this one, and I know you've talked about it, but I did not get a chance to talk to you about this.
Yes, people, I haven't shaved. I haven't. I know.
What do you think of? I want to hear it out of your mouth. What was your thoughts on this issue? People were in uproar about the Captain America and T'Challa thing, because I finally saw just the panels. I did not, and then I found out what the build up towards it was. I did not read it, but I've seen it, and I've seen people mad about it.
All right, okay. I think I did this already, but I'll do it again. I think when I first saw the panels, number one, when I first saw the panels, my first question was, well, what's the story about? Like, it wasn't like, I'm so angry. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's a man dressed in a cape, dressed in a flag, beating up a black guy. That wasn't my first thought. And it wasn't my first thought because it's a superhero comic book. Like, you know, like superheroes fight all the time. That was my first thought. Superheroes fight all the time. And then I started reading a little bit more, and then I saw the page before it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, somebody tried to argue with me about that Captain America was telling Black Panther to go back to Africa. And I'm like, that's not what he said. He said, go back to Wakanda. Wakanda just happens to be in Africa. That doesn't mean that Captain America is using a racial derogatory phrase. He's just telling him to go home. That's his home. That's like telling me, go back to Connecticut. I'm not going to be insulted because I'm from Connecticut. I don't know another way to put it. I don't know another way to say it. I've literally had certain individuals arguing with me for hours on end about that. But I think context is important. It's not absolute. Context is not absolute, but it is important sometimes. And in this instance, if you're taking 2 pages out of a book without any context whatsoever, sometimes it might not look right, or something might not look right about it.
Yeah.
It's just like if you take a scene out of a movie, one scene out of a movie with no context, it might not look right. So I actually went and read the book. First things first, I think a lot of people, their opinion of hey, for those people that just joined, our guest is running a little late. I'm trying to get in touch with him. Tony, if anybody who knows Tony, remind him that he's supposed to be at the show tonight. But if I what was I saying? Oh man,
You're talking about you read the book for.
I read the book,
the Black,
and I just thought that within the context of the story, T'Challa is not backing down, and he initiates the fight. He initiates the fight. Now, me and Michael Watson were talking about it, and he made a good point, and I'll give him credit for it, that the panel with Captain America, like his face, and he's all angry. I think the artist could have done a better job showing a different emotional state, like regret or something like that. But at the same time, he's fighting. It's an angry superhero fight, gritted teeth. All right, he's about to punch him. So I mean, he's angry. Now I will say, and Greg Ellis he brought this up, and he's right. There is one panel where Captain America says something like, "Are you gonna go home? Or are you gonna go do something, or are you gonna come over here and get this butt whooping?" And I was like, "Well, that don't even sound like Captain America. Like, what? Like that was bad. That was bad." But the rest of it, T'Challa initiated the fight. He got his butt kicked. Now I know that there are a lot of people who they're like, "Well, he got nerfed in his own book, or he got beat up in his own book." And I'm like, dude, Spider-Man has gotten beat up in his own book. Iron Man has gotten beat up in his own book. Captain America, like all these superheroes have gotten beat up in their own book. It happens. Like that's just it happens. And then that's a trope. It's a trope of comic books. And then the other one was, like I said, there was, somebody saying that imagery of a man dressed in red, white, and blue, a white man dressed in red, white, and blue, beating up a black man from Africa isn't a good look. And I'm like, okay, well, number one, contextually, it's not as bad as what you think it is. And then number two, does this mean that Captain America can't fight any black people whatsoever?
No,
Like,
no, he cannot.
if Luke
I
Cage
strictly
hauls over,
forbid it.
if he fights Luke Cage, is that a problem? Is that racist?
Oh, that's definitely going to be a problem.
If he fights Moses Magnum, is he racist? Like, what are we doing here? So I do think this was an instance of people being finding a reason to get upset about something that really didn't warrant it. Now, from the flip side, there are a lot of people who don't like the run that's out now, the run of Black Panther that's on with the creators that are on.
I've read that's true.
To those people, I can't say nothing to you because clearly this is something that you ain't liked for a while now. But why are you hate reading it? Like you're hate reading it. I personally read the first issue and I wasn't really down with it. Like I didn't really like it all that much.
So you didn't like it either?
It's not that it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me, and I'm okay with that. Not every run is for everybody. So I was just like, I'll wait for the next run for the next person, and then we'll see from there. But I didn't keep reading it. Like there were some people that just kept reading it even though they didn't like it. Hey, listen, man, I ain't got the money. I ain't got the time to read or watch something that I don't like. If there's one thing about me is I'm not going to keep watching something I don't like. The closest thing that I do, the closest hate watch that I do, and it's not even really hate watch because I still kind of like the show, is Grey's Anatomy. And that's like I'm already so far deep and entrenched in the show that I'm just kind of trying to see where this goes and how it ends.
I've been there a few times,
but I don't hate Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah,
I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, if it's something, and if I feel like it's not vibing, I can fall off of a show pretty quickly. I remember at one point that was not true, but now I can fall off because, like you said, I don't have the time to sit up and watch or hate read something. If I'm not feeling it, I'm probably just going to be out.
It just seems like a waste of time to me.
So,
I thought was interesting, I'll tell you, what's your thought on Michael Vick's opinion on what Lamar Jackson should have done? Did you see it?
Yeah. That's where he basically told him to strap it up and go and play.
Yeah. What did you think about that?
Mike is kind of like tail end of old school, where most guys would have got a shot, strap, put a boot or something on and went out there. That's the way most football players are trained. That's the way that it's been drilled into your head from when you were a kid if you played football long enough. So it's like, you know, everything for the team, everything for the win, everything for glory. I don't know if that flies anymore. And when you see guys, you've got literally Robert Griffin III, the poster boy for guys like Lamar, who are supremely talented, supreme athletes, and are game changers and game breakers. yet they are highly susceptible to getting injured. Robert Griffin III is the poster boy for what can go wrong in that situation. And Lamar Jackson, he has more to think about than that one game. Does it mean the most full? Is it the best look? Not in traditional football terms.
I ain't got no problem with it.
But honestly, I can't get mad at him for it because,
dude, if I was up for a contract,
it's a job.
if I was up for if my contract was coming up and my knee wasn't right, and y'all trying to put me out there, knowing good and damn well if I screw up my knee, y'all gonna be like, well, let's take some zeros off this contract. Excuse me, I would literally laugh in your face.
I feel like the Ravens are going to. It's kind of a whatever situation for them because ultimately they're probably going to just franchise them this year anyway.
Well, they better because I was talking to somebody and they're like, they should move on from him. I'm sitting here like, not having a quarterback is like a wasteland, being in a wasteland with no, being in the Sahara Desert.
Go ask about 10 teams what it's like not having a quarterback.
Absolutely.
At least.
I'm trying to think. The teams that don't have one and are still looking, Atlanta is still looking. Carolina is still looking.
Tampa Bay's about to be looking. Really, the Saints are looking.
Well,
that's one division.
Jets are still looking. And they screwed up.
You can say what you want. The Giants are still looking. Although their guys probably.
I don't know if they're looking anymore.
He probably earned himself
he's getting another contract. He's going
to get a contract at least.
He's not going to break the bank, but he's going to get another contract. I'm trying to think who else is
Cardinals.
Still Redskins are still looking.
Well, not the Cardinals.
No, Cardinals
technically have somebody.
Yeah, they screwed. They're in for the long haul.
The Bears don't know, even though even though Fields had a decent year, he had improved year, but they still don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Packers may end up looking for one when it's all said and done.
No, Aaron Rodgers is just he's gonna play. Aaron Rodgers likes
ultimately.
He just likes the attention, which is why he says stuff like that because people will keep talking about him. And I mean, listen, man,
is there a disease in that position?
For Green Bay, absolutely.
Yes, for Green Bay. Like if you play quarterback for Green Bay, you must be a diva who needs attention on you at all times because it's like Harry Potter and the defense against the dark arts. Everyone must have something wrong.
It's not that something's wrong. It's just this,
not wrong, but what I mean.
I mean, in my opinion, and I think it was, I forgot who said it, but you just signed a contract with them. Like, are you in or are you out? Like, this whole nonsense about, well, I don't know if I want to keep playing and da-da-da-da-da. Well, dude, you shouldn't have signed a 4 or 5 year contract. Like, you either in or you out. Like, come on now, stop with the back and forth. Before we go any further, we're going to do a little, just a tiny commercial. Oh, do I have a guest? Oh, I thought it was my son. So, like I said, I've said it on a couple of shows. Heat number 2 of the ongoing series. The one after this, Heat number 1, you can go and pre-order your copy because I'm ordering some new ones. You can pre-order your copy, 32 pages right now, full color. The Heat number 2 is 1 page away from being fully drawn and very close to being fully colored and almost fully lettered. And as I've shown before, this is the cover for it. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at that. I worked hard on that one. So Heat number 3 should be Heat number 2, should be done within the next few weeks, actually, like 2 or 3 weeks. And then I'm looking to do trying to do kind of a book tour around Connecticut, but it doesn't have to just be Connecticut. If you know a comic shop that you want me to visit to that is within driving distance of Connecticut, I will gladly show up and with my copies of Heat and we'll sign some books, sell some books, and talk some comics. But yes, Heat number 2 should be out very soon. I will have an official date. You will actually start to see marketing for it very, very soon. And if you have not gotten caught up on the entire story of Heat, the collection, this is not the right cover, but it is the full collection of Heat, 150 pages with full content or extra content is available at right there, visuallystoked.com. So, feel free to go on, get the books. And I am right now trying to determine where my next event will be. I still, it'll probably be one of the signings for Heat number 2. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying really hard to do Atlanta Comic Con. It's not dead yet. It's not a possibility that's dead yet, but I'm working on it.
If we know, it'd be kind of interesting to do. You come down for that, because then we could come up with some random excuse to do some sort of live Stoked podcast kind of thing. Because I plan on being there regardless.
I mean, I'm working on it right now. It's really about the table, paying for the table. Because for me, if you don't know, I'm in Connecticut. To get to Atlanta, and I have to pay for flight, hotel.
That's ticket. Yeah, that's flight and table and all.
That's a lot. So if you do want to support me and you really want to see me at Atlanta Comic Con, feel free to hit me up on my Cash App.
Send him to Atlanta.
And you know what?
Real I'll talk, torture him if you.
Let me finish. If you do support, I will send you some cool stuff as a thank you. So yes, hit me up, Javon Stokes. That's my Cash App. But yeah, man, the table's like $275. I'm trying really hard to get there, but we'll see.
Look, if you guys
who's Facebook user, I'm gonna be there. Who's that?
Really?
You gotta put your name in. If for some reason it's not showing up. But I'm trying really hard, yeah. I really am trying. I'm exhausting all resources I can to get there. I mean, I have my hope. Hey, Ro's gonna be there. Awesome. See now, man, you really making me want to go.
So man. I mean, I can see him when he's here. Okay.
Ro, do you have a table or are you just going? Let me know. But yeah, I really want to go. I was supposed to do a panel, but I have to back out of the panel because I don't know if I'm actually going to be there. It's just, it sucks, but we'll see.
He's tabling.
He's tabling. Oh
he's
man.
Gonna be, so I will find his table.
Yeah, man. I really wish I could be there, dude. Like I said,
so
it's $275 for a table. I'm gonna keep it a buck for y'all. It's like $275 for a table, about $300-400 for the hotel, and then probably about another $100 or so for the flight. Do the math. And then on top of that, I have to buy books to have books to send.
If you send him to Atlanta, I will make a video of me annoying the hell out of him. If that's what that is what I will.
Mario doesn't realize I have a 4-year-old son. It's really hard to like.
I mean, I can still make the effort.
He's a professional level annoyer.
I can still make the effort. That's what I do.
But yeah, I'm trying to make it. We'll see. I'm giving myself 2 weeks to determine if I can come up with the funds for the table. So if you know somebody who works for Atlanta Comic Con, holla at me. Tell them that you love Heat and that I move books, man. I do move books, so it'd be really nice. So like I said, if you know somebody who knows somebody.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So since I'm doing I'm doing my thing. I've set my date. I'm getting that out. I'm getting word out and everything else. I am primarily trying to bring in other schools and students. So if there is a club or organization at a school I am looking for it, I'm trying to find it that's kind of in conjunction with what I'm doing. If you've got a club that deals with comics, you deal with anime, you deal with tabletop gaming, video gaming, I want you to come to my event. So what would you do if I'm coming to you as a content creator and I want to put you in front of an audience?
I
Keep in
probably
mind,
I would probably talk the business of comic books. Like if I'm being honest with you, I don't think enough people talk about it. You know, I'm a big not supporter. I'm a big advocate for education about what it takes to do it from a business perspective, not just from a creative perspective. Um, because the creative part is to me the easiest part of comic books. I mean, it's difficult in that it's labor intensive, but it's easy in that it's still art. Like you're doing what you like to do. You're writing, you're drawing, whatever. The business part is the hardest part because all right, you made a book. How do I get it in the hands of people who would like it? And between doing events, doing cons, maybe doing Kickstarters, doing marketing on social media. There's just so many different avenues now where you need to reach people. It can be overwhelming. Budgeting, how much do I want to spend on how much do I want to spend on books? How much do I need to, should I be paying people if I have my writer and I want to use this artist? How much should I be paying them? If I'm an artist and I want to work with a writer, how much should I be asking for? There's a lot of real estate there that doesn't get talked about as much as it should, because and a lot of us, we figure it out going along the way, and it'd be really nice if like people should be
so
like, yeah, like let me educate you you know
so it sounds like you're saying I should probably have some sort of, if possible, a roundtable panel, or maybe for 30 minutes to an hour, I let creators like you talk about that very thing.
That'd be cool. I mean, just
Because I
try
can
and
certainly
cover
carve out
everything.
an hour. I can carve out 30 minutes to an hour to let a few people sit in and talk, and that gets to put those very same people I want to put in front of students in that place and let them not only talk about the things that they create, but as you said, the lessons learned from the business and financial side of things.
Yeah, I mean, you can also. I mean, you can. I will be really cool if you did a chat and draw. Like have somebody up there.
Ooh.
You could do a live chat and draw. That'd be really cool. Just
Oh.
kind of dealing with it from every aspect, so that you can see the creative part. You could talk to people about the writing of it. You could talk to people about the business part of it. You could talk to people about the financial part of it. There's so many things that go into doing comic books that even when I first sat down to do it, I never even thought about. Um, and if I did, I'd probably do things a lot differently. I think I would do things a lot differently if I were to do it all over again. So yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you literally could do a whole panel on making an effective Kickstarter.
See, and that I'd love to be able to just touch on some of that stuff because, like you said, these are things that, I've got young upcoming people they're applying right now to SCAD. They are applying to art schools. They are trying to get their work out there and they're starting to either create content or create comics. And that would be just to touch on that with those kind of kids would be something if you could get those kids sparked, it'd be wonderful. So,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are a lot of people, and I'm starting to believe that we're not going to get our guest today. That's okay. We'll bring them back, and we'll just have our conversation for the next couple of minutes. Um, Once again, if you want to if you want to support the show and get me to Atlanta Comic Con, please feel free to go to the Cash App. Please send me. It would be really appreciated. There, I will sell copies of Heat and Heat number 1 and Strong, and Heat number 2 will definitely be out by then, including the collection, the full 150-page graphic novel. That's the end of that commercial. But yeah, I mean, there's like a wealth of knowledge that doesn't get passed around, and it's almost like everybody is expected to learn on the fly. And usually when people ask me about this stuff, I keep it real and I just tell them like, this is what you need. You need a budget for this. You need this amount of money. You probably need this amount of money. You probably need this. You should probably do this. If you're a writer, you're gonna need an artist. If you want to find an artist, you go here. There's just a lot that learn, and then just like there are people like Danny Quick. I give him a lot of credit. The way he uses TikTok and social media. Oh, so our guest popped in.
Yes,
So our guest is here. I don't have a flowery introduction. I'm sorry. Tony Kittrell, come on in, man. The creator of Titan the Ultraman and the owner of Advent Comics. Come on in.
Hey, forgive me for being so late, fellas. I'm just getting off work, man.
That's all right. That's all
We're
right.
glad you are here.
We're just glad you made it.
Work ran so long.
That's okay. It happens, man. It happens.
Good.
We good, man. We good.
Glad
We
to
just
be
talking
here,
about
man.
the business of comic books, man.
Where to begin? Where to begin?
Well, you know what? We'll get into it. Everybody, this is Tony Kittrell. Is it Kittrell?
Yep, you got it right on the first go, man. Most people don't.
Okay, Tony Kittrell, owner of Advent Comics and creator and writer of Titan. Welcome, man. Welcome. I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah, I'm glad too, bro. I was pushing everything to get home.
No, I appreciate it, man. I was trying to get in. Like I always tell people I feel really bad because
that wasn't on you. That was all
no.
on me,
I was
brother.
just gonna say I tell people I feel
to you, your co-host, and my apologies.
No, you good.
You are absolutely fine.
I wasn't I was just saying, like, I was trying to get in a chance to finish reading.
Oh, you got
I was trying.
Got it. Okay. Glad you got it, bro.
Yeah. I'm terrible at reading all these Kickstarters that I back.
I understood, man. I got a stack too, man. I got like 20 I haven't read yet. And sometimes you get so busy in between December and February because I'm doing W-2s and 1099s and paperwork and stuff. So I don't read like I should, but I best believe it.
Oh yeah. So I got a little bit of it. So I got a little bit of what made. So I thought what was interesting, and we'll get into it. But the one thing I will say, so your character and my character are the same first name.
Okay, all right, bet.
Yeah. Cameron. I was like, okay, all right, okay.
Marcus. Is Titan's full government of the Titan book.
Okay. All right, so let's get into it. And we won't waste too much of your time.
Oh, no waste.
Where did your love of comics begin?
Comics since I was a little kid, man. Honestly, about 5 or 6 years old, I would always sneak and look at my older brother's comic books, man. I was just looking at pictures, and I was just when I could start to read, the first thing I picked up was a comic book. Old Marvel comic books. I used to read comic books together. They love Marvel. Conan, X-Men, Spider-Man. It was a little bit of the X-Men, but they were just starting to fade off, and that's when they went on hiatus. And I was always into their books, always.
Okay, all right. X-Men. So you're a big X-Men fan. Okay, all right.
Old X-Men. I got Hickman's new stuff, but I haven't followed it as much as I should. I think I stopped maybe like a year and a half now. But what I'm seeing of it is still looking like it's amazing. So, how about you?
Any other? Oh, me? I don't know if I had a favorite when I was growing up. When I was younger, I've been collecting for a very long time. Okay. So when I was younger, it wasn't a matter of I want to go back and keep getting this same book. It was like whenever I went to a store, if it had comic books, I like the way that one looked. I'm gonna get that one. Yep. I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna get one. So if you look like my collection, which is everywhere now, but if you looked at my collection, the early books are like a hodgepodge of all kinds of stuff. I got I got Death's Head. I got all kinds of stuff. Executioners.
Okay.
I got stuff all over the place. So I can't say when I was younger I had a favorite.
Okay.
Um hold on one second. Oh, there we go. So what are your favorite comics now?
I know the cliche and dumb, but I don't get a chance to really read. It's like Marvel and DC on a regular basis. Most of the comics I read now are comics I back off, and the titles that I am currently reading: Spider Squirrel by Justice by Wingless Comics, Concrete Comics, I Fight and Absolver. I haven't got any new titles yet. I'm gonna get around to it because some of this stuff looks. A lot of like upcoming people like Stokes. He's somebody who really should be on your radar because.
What was his name? You broke up, Red.
Anthony Stokes.
So I actually talked to him on Twitter.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he posted something, and I was just like, "Yo, man, we gotta find out if we related."
I read his new book that's getting ready to come out soon, Intrusive Thoughts. Dude is on. He coming strong.
He's supposed to. We linked up. I'm trying to get him on the show. Okay. I told him I was like, we gotta find out if we related.
Definitely get that brother on the show because he's doing some things, man. He's gonna be a name.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, like I said, I got half of the people you just talked about sitting right in a stack in front of me.
Okay. Bet.
I didn't get Spider Squirrel, but I do know he that's a good guy. McElroy, right? Charlie. Yeah.
He's always propping up other creators around the industry. He's a good dude, man. We all have to rise and float in order for it to be a successful thing, and he lives that every day.
Yeah, I just met him for the first time at Baltimore
Comic-Con. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's a good man.
He was like 3 tables away from me.
Okay. I didn't do Baltimore this year. I said I was laying low on the rest of 2022, let all this COVID stuff get out to 2023. So starting this year, I'm doing shows again. So I'll be seeing you guys at shows.
Oh, yeah. Do you know when your first one is?
I haven't played my first one yet. Normally, it's probably going to be like I try to do Awesome Con. I try to do Baltimore, definitely. And by my count, I can fit in like 4 shows where I can move around freely. And I'm going to do Awesome Con. I haven't done the next 2. A couple people talking to me about trying to come to those. So I might do that.
Going where?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
Might do one, and I might try to do New York again. We'll see. We'll see how that flows later in the year. And I don't know if I got the leave off. I had to plan my leave like a year in advance, and all that show yet. So I'll find out.
Okay. Go ahead, Jamari. Before I get into talking about how you got to being from a fan to creator, go ahead, Jamari.
That's actually one of the things I was going to ask about. I'll ask you this: what are some of the influences that got you to that point where you started making content? What were the books that you wanted to emulate, or the ones that inspired you the most?
One word: milestone. Everything about them brothers was dynamite, bro. Dynamite. And actually, that actually is what's making comics. That's how Advent came about. If it wasn't for me going to Michael Davis's Blind Diego Comic-Con one year when I went out there, the first time I went out there, I had met Tyrese. He did to Comic-Con. He was in our hotel. I was like, nah. I was like, me and my wife here for our anniversary. I was like, well, what you doing at Comic-Con? You were singing a TV actor. He was like, bro, a comic book. So he had a comic book image. So he got me in there, and saw him do his thing. So I was like, let me walk. So I'm like 2 other brothers out there. Kobe Marks, who had a book called Storms, out there with him and some other people, and just talking about the industry, and I was wondering, like, wow, and they was like, bro, they was like, it's a cold game. They was like, if you can get in, but there ain't many black people do that. And so Kobe had said, are you going to the black panel tomorrow? I mean, I don't even know what the black panel was. He was like, you got to go to the black panel. So he told me what it was, at 10 o'clock at so-and-so room. Went up there, man, and it was like a party. Sensories, just people in the comic industry together, all vibing. And then the message was, comics is $1 billion business. There's room for all of us, including black people. So they will get in, get in when you fit in. And I was like, bet. I was like, okay. I always had to love to get into comics. So, true story. I take risks all the time. I'm a firefighter. So I was bold enough to see one of my brothers across the room. So I went up and introduced myself to him. And so they were looking at me like, dude, who we look, man? I was like, I got this idea for this comic book character. Woo. The character was the guy Dennis was talking to was like, oh, man, that sounds like something I'd be down to be a part of. He had just started Black Pants, and I was like, oh. So, man, I went home weekend, dusted off all my writing stuff, started writing again, and I had our first book finished. It was called Pandemonium Evil Incarnate. And I was like, man, people ain't really gonna like this. Put it out anyway, see what happens. It responded. It started selling like crazy on Amazon. I was like, okay, bet. Followed it up with another, and that was successful. We might have something. So I had been in touch with a couple people behind the scenes. Like I said, I'm bold. I take risks up to Christopher Priest and a couple other people like, look, I'm about to do this thing. I said, I'm not trying to want to put black characters, black creators back in the comics in dark. And I was like, I ain't trying to really do that, but I want to put a certain. And so people were behind the scenes give me advice and everything. And it was a couple guys who were big guys who worked at Miles. So it kind of like we were having fun, and I was like, okay, bet. So they gave me the blueprint, and I just ran with it. And here we are. We still doing it.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate the courage and to be.
Yeah,
I know you just said you're a fireman, so this ain't nothing.
You live once, and I'm like, look, if I really want to do this, which I did, I was like, and I took the leap of faith, and I did it. So,
hey man, I get that.
Point. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
That's what my parents used to say. Closed mouths never get fed. So the only way to do it is to do it. I make a lot of mistakes along the way. Oh man, big time. But it's a learning thing. I guess I've been shown is that this is a true community, and the people in it will ride with you for once you have their back, and you work with them, they work with you. So I love it, man. I add to the industry. So glad.
Okay, all right. Sorry, my son said goodnight.
It's no thing, man.
So tell us about Titan. Give us the what's the word I'm looking for? Give us the elevator pitch.
All right. Well, basically, a man who gets these wondrous abilities, and he decides to do most, and that's a hero. So basically Titan is kind of based off me. Having a Titan through the course of his life that pretty much every guy, every man can relate to. He's not problems, whatever, but he's trying to do right with what he's been given. And so basically, you're going to Titan him learn to be a hero. So, showing now from Titan 3, he responds to a man who is character's name is Mauler. Mauler is a mercenary who was hired to, but he kills another superhero instead, and Titan feels responsibility for that. Calls him out by threatening the mayor of the city and holding hostages. The city's gonna kill everyone. Titan meets him. They show up. Titan gets the bit of him, but it turns out to be an ambush. He called the Fight Club. They're a group of super-powered psycho. And so it's a wild story, and that's just like the first of many even along the way.
Okay, now you're 4 issues in, right?
4 issues and more, but in order to tell some of Titan's stories, it's around Titan. So Titan is not the only book that I produce. So there are other pockets, other books that I had to create in order for any of these stories to move forward with some of the other stories. Like Cosmos can never take place until I section of the universe, Savior's part of the universe, the Regulator is part of the universe, and all the other. So I had to create their issues, and everybody used to say, "Man, why you start all these number one story?" I couldn't tell a whole story because I had to put all these other blocks in place. So the main blocks are in place. I can proceed with certain storylines. So yeah, Titan is now 4 issues in, issue 5 now.
Okay.
Just waiting on the artist. Marvel still kind of fully get to it like we want, but it should be hopefully out this year.
Awesome. So let's talk about Advent Comics. Now, you the owner, right? You the founder?
Yes, sir.
How did you get to be a founder? Like, how did you? Because you're doing like a bunch of different titles, right? Like, you got how many titles?
Of my own titles underneath the Advent Universe 1 titles, and then I have an imprint called Unbound Realms where there's books as well. And that imprint we have 9 ongoing titles and others on the roster.
Okay.
So a total of 12 right now.
Okay.
It's still a few more that I have minced out, or some that I have printed. I just haven't released them yet because it's not the right time for them to be released. Now currently 32 books total.
Oh wow. Sheesh. Man, you big dogging it. How long has this been going on? How long have you been? When did you start it? And
Advent started 2009. We're getting ready to go in August 1st makes our 14th year. 13, and I did all that. Honestly, I'm gonna brag this a little bit.
No, go ahead, do your thing.
We got sales in countries, and that
Say
was
it again.
We're selling Advent Comics in 53 countries. Now was before we hooked up with Diamond. We got access to a little bit more places we didn't have before. So, like we've been keeping our head down low and just making it happen. So, we try.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Go ahead, Jamar.
So, kind of talking about how has what have been some of the challenges you've had when it comes to building up your label, your brand?
Bro, so many. I approached it from a purely business standpoint, as opposed to seeing what the kind of outsider. So I just came at it just like straight business mind, and the comments, and so that was like probably my biggest issue, was realizing family thing than it is a business. I mean, it's still a business. Don't get me wrong, but the relation family oriented, or that's how I carry my relationships. If I ask like we family, yeah, I'm gonna ride with you. You need this, you got it. Or behind the scenes, you can do the X, Y, and Z to make your book bigger, or you can do woo 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 woo. So behind the scenes, and it's not just a business, not a competition. Most people think, oh man, we're all in competition to a point, but there's so many different owners and creators I talk to behind it. Bro, that's your competition. I'm like, nah, it ain't competition. That's family. For real, because it's what I'm doing. What they're doing is what they're doing. There is no competition. My competition is me. Every day better than I did yesterday. That's how I rock. I mean, I don't concern myself with anybody else what I'm here for. So I'm trying to beat what I did yesterday every day. Every single day. But yeah, I made so many mistakes, bro. Yeah, just learning how to structure everything. Having me as I did. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I made mistakes. I mean, first early in Advent, I tried to do too much too soon. I wasn't financially, structurally, as a company, distribution, I wasn't ready for it. So slow things down and do it piecemeal. So it might have been one or two titles here, there. Because like I said, it was a big learning curve, big learning. For me, I want to say the biggest thing that was a drawback to starting Advent was getting the trust of the people who I came to, whether closely on making the titles or just in the industry itself. Oh, you got Ace up there. Cool. Yeah, so to me, it was just cultivating the relationships to do or to get Advent in the place that it's been. They only knew what they've heard of me, and most of what you hear ain't always the truth. So
that's all right. I see you got a book called Savior. I'm not gonna act like I'm not salty because I had a book named Savior for decades.
That was the image book. That was imitated our Savior character. When I was a lot of these characters, I have and it's funny because I have a binder, no lie, it's like this thick of just drawings. I was like in from sixth grade, the ones I can find from sixth grade, mostly from elementary, from like seventh and eighth grade up to now. So
right.
If I see one more pick 3 ring binder with, because I keep character Bibles and all my characters, or one more writing in it. She used to tell me, I don't want to see that no more. I'm like, look, trust me, it's gonna pay off. You'll see why. So, but yeah, Savior was an image character, but I actually created this was in 7th grade, and it's funny because a lot of characters that I grew up creating. So when people say, like, one that the people always talk about, it's a 10th grade called Godspeed. Like, oh, DC did him. I was like, I created this in 7th grade, and I said, even DC didn't put their character Godspeed out to 2016. I was like, so come on, man. I mean, trust me. Everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
Your character's name so and so. I was like, bruh, do you think I'd put this out and it was no problems with it? I was like, come on, man. So
Yeah, I had a savior. I had a savior. Yeah, yeah. I got the design and everything, man. I had that joint. I had that joint back in high school. So I was
we
just
gotta let him meet up then, because
you know what?
I
was gonna do Savior was gonna be my first comic book. It was gonna be my first one. I had the design, I had everything, but it was kind of, you know, it was too Superman-ish, like, you know. So I didn't want to do that, and that's why I did Heat first. Like Heat came out first because I felt like it was a little different than just like what everything out there. But the name Savior, I love that name, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, gotta let that's a big thing that I promote at Advent. We don't know what we're gonna do next, and I always say anything's possible. I try to show that, because like with our Cosmos title, people were like, "Bro, how you get people to appear in your book?" I was like, "Cause I can do that." And I'm like, it's easy when you really want to do something like that. I mean, people will rock with you. You'd be surprised how easy it is for the creators to come along and be like, okay, if they like you and deal with you, they'll be like, yeah, you can have my. Because Cosmos, for instance, we got character and image and different things who appeared in Cosmos so far. So comics, we got Wingless Comics. A couple other people I can't say just yet because story. I mean, anything is possible at Advent. Anything.
That's awesome.
Possible.
That's awesome. So, but one more question before Jamari goes. So, are you mostly financing yourself through like Kickstarters? Like, is that your primary?
No. Actually, it's a funny story. I did a group on Facebook called the Advent Universe Group, and I put it to them towards a vote. Like, look, I ain't really into this Kickstarter thing, but if you got to do it, and so a lot of people in the group were like, yeah, put your books on Kickstarter. We'll support it. First Kickstarter I did, I think that was around 2013ish, and that was it was before Vince White's Powerverse took off.
Mm-hmm.
Al Belfield, Sean Rogers, and myself, we did a book called God, Gate of the Gods, and that was my first Kickstarter ever. And so I noticed that it was a way to get your book directly, a direct to market kind of thing. And I was like, oh, this could work. I was like, this could work. The whole thing was, I'm not going to ask fans to pay for a book that we can do ourselves. Always my biggest holdup with Kickstarter. I was like, I'm not going to ask you to fund my book. No, that's not fair. Looking at it as a funding device and more of a marketing device, and just started. So that's what I use Kickstarter for, and I developed a relationship with the people who back us. I think we're into, on my personal page, we're up to like 14, but I've done like another 6 for things like the trading cards and outside titles, the regulated title, and then I've done 4 successful Indiegogo. Me and Indiegogo, I just can't get it right over there, so I stick to Kickstarter. So yeah, crowdfunding is a thing. It's a thing, and like I said, it introduces our books to people who may not have seen them before. So that's why I started to love it. Also decided when I started doing the Kickstarters that each Kickstarter, I'm with the people who back our books like a unique, not so much an experience you won't find anywhere else. Like the Kickstarters I do will have different sets you get anywhere else other than the Kickstarter. Like for instance, we did our 10th anniversary book. We did that on it was like special covers, hard bounds, and different things. That book is not anywhere else. If you didn't get it off the Kickstarter, you don't got it.
Right. Okay. All right. Jamari, go ahead, man.
So how much of the work are you doing? Are you doing all of the art? Are you doing the writing too? Or what hats do you wear?
If I could, it would be amazing. But I can draw to the point to let the artist know what it is trying to come across. But I am the writer of most of the titles, and I edit most of the titles, do all the business and stuff behind the scenes for the books. So, other than art and inking and coloring and lettering, I do it all.
Okay.
I do it everything else.
Oh wow!
So,
all right. So we'll talk about some fun stuff now. What's your favorite part of the con experience?
oh man, to talk to people. So when I'm talking to different people come by, I'm a fan of anybody else. So a lot of times, I'm not even trying to get them to buy a book. Sometimes I'm taking pictures just because I love to interact with them and see different costumes and such. Well, at conventions, people see what we have to offer. They tend to, and then talk to them and show them what our books are about, and we tend to cons. So, but like I said, I love the experience. I love being a fan first at the cons and talking and interacting with people.
Okay.
So I love it.
All right, go ahead, Jamari.
So you've talked a lot about community and how the community helps people grow. What would you like to see more out of the community, or what would you like to see the community do in terms of helping each other and just going forward?
That's the key right there is me, but helping, and I see a lot of that now. You see a lot of support one another. Like if a creator is releasing a Kickstarter, they'll release a community for their con, for their campaigns. Just being there to support other creators. Like I said, different creators have different needs depending on where they are. Creators behind the scenes about things that can help them improve where their standing is. So I do things I'm like a lot, but it's all about community. It's definitely all about.
Okay. All right. So what's the thing you dislike about con?
About our community?
About con. About Comic-Con.
About cons? I dislike the setup process because I lay the stuff to all the shows, but it's like I'm setting up for forever sometimes. So now, an hour.
You got a lot of books.
I gotta go. I gotta go the night before to carry all that stuff in. So, sometimes I bring my wife with me. Like I said, or depending on where the show is, I'll have whatever area we're at come to the show with us, and they'll do signings or they'll do art or whatever. But that part is cool, but it's the setting up. The setup, that's the worst part of the con experience.
All right, go ahead, Jamari.
Worst part.
Yeah, that's the worst part of the con convention, the convention situation. So when you go to cons, is it just you, or do you have other people with you at a table?
Come with other people. there are the plan for I want to bring in several of my co-table together. Do it like the old image shows used to be, where they all at the table together. It's as far as having concerned, but normally I table with just having people. So I've never had a. Well, no, I take that back. One table with another person, another creator who actually, and the table was a little too expensive, so I gave him half my table. Yeah, that's not bro. Now I ain't gonna lie. They said, "What's this?" It's like, this is outrageous, but it's how you meet. Though it gives the fans a chance to see you in person, to develop a real relationship with you. Cons are the way to go, but the price on these cons have definitely gone up. Definitely gone up.
Hey, you saw me. I was just begging to help me out for Atlanta Comic Con, man. I'm trying to make it to Atlanta Comic Con.
Yeah,
I need to tour with them.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
What show?
Well, I'm trying to do Atlanta Comic Con. I'm trying to do Atlanta
Comic Con.
Yeah, I mean, cool. The actual con itself isn't overly expensive, but the flight travel and everything, the travel is what's a killer.
Yeah. You gonna ship your books down, or how you gonna do it?
Nah, I mean, I honestly I could put everything in one suitcase.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like I only wear this stuff to cons, like just t-shirts.
That's it, bro. The dress wear at the cons. Every time you see me at the con, I'm wearing jeans and one of our new shirts we're trying to rock. But that's it. Jeans and a shirt. That's it.
Yeah, so I can roll them up. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I can just I've done it before. Like the folks who watch the show know I did Dragon Con once.
Oh,
so
okay. How was that? One of my coworkers did Dragon Con. I have never been to Dragon Con. Bro, you got to go. He enjoyed it. Took his wife's kids. They dressed up, everything.
I'll say I didn't. So I enjoyed it for a different reason, right? So I got to see family. What's up, Lonzo? Lonzo Star in the building was on last week.
Up, my man? On the diamond thing, bro.
Yeah.
All them conversations we had, bro. Keep doing your
thing.
Oh
yeah, man. Lonzo doing big things, man. Lonzo doing things.
And with the live on this thing, I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah, I saw the live action stuff. Yeah.
Bro, that looked fire, man.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, like
we can say we know him from back when.
Oh man, when he blow up, I'm bringing him back on the show. Like I already know. You already know. But yeah, like it's a good show. There's a lot of festivities, a lot of stuff happening after. I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't get to do any of it. I was actually doing a lot of family stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the best.
Yeah,
that's the best thing.
I want to do it again, but I mean the table's like 400. It's
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And it not much a comment. I thought it was more of the way I always understood it. It's not really a comic, so to speak. It's more like cosplay and other fantasy type.
Dragon Con?
Was there a comic experience there?
Oh yeah.
At Dragon Con?
Oh yeah. There's always that.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a ton of comics there.
Hey, bet. Okay.
Absolutely.
I definitely need to look into that, Dan, because I always heard that it was more of a cosplay type of realm.
I mean, it's everything. It's everything.
Yeah. It is a big event. It is you're definitely going to see cosplay and you're going to see all the things like that, but there is a significant comic experience there.
Oh, bet. Okay, because that was the reason why I really hadn't ventured into that, because they were like couldn't do good down there because it's not really for comics, and I was like,
oh man, don't lie to them. Don't let them lie to you.
Bet. Bet. Okay.
Yeah. All right,
I might
so
see me stretch my wings into Atlanta then. Okay.
all right, okay. So we got about 10 minutes left in the show.
Okay.
We're gonna do this thing that we do every week. Top 5.
My man, I was hoping to be a part of one of your top 5.
Yeah, man. You need to come on the other show. You need to come on top 5.
Bro, you, Danny, and Morgan. I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I watch pretty much every week, so
I appreciate that,
I'm
man.
watching.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm watching it.
I appreciate it, man. You watch us embarrass ourselves week in and week out, man. I appreciate it.
Y'all have a good time, man. Y'all have a good time. You scared me
So-
one week when you were like Danny was gone. I was like, huh? He was like, nah, yes, he'll be back.
It's always gonna be the 3 of us, man. I mean,
Good.
you know, as far as I know, none of us are planning on leaving. So we gonna be here.
Good.
All right. So this is what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna do a little different.
Okay.
Since you brought it up, and since you said you
All
were
right.
a fan,
All right.
tonight's top 5 will be top 5 X-Men.
Oh, bet.
Top 5 favorite X-Men.
My top 5 X-Men.
Your top 5 favorite
Okay.
X-Men.
That bird off the rip.
Who?
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird.
70s
Okay.
version of Thunderbird. Yes. I've
Okay.
always been a big fan of Sunfire. Big
Sunfire.
fan. Colossus.
Okay.
And Sync has
Sync?
the potential to be, and I got to throw Bishop in there too. Bishop is my man too. Bishop.
Okay, that's 5.
2 of the top X-Men, but they ain't really. Well, I don't know if they're doing it right now, but right. I'm like, Sync could be like all powerful. Bishop is already the man, bro. They just not doing it right. They're not doing it right.
Okay.
But I just always loved Thunderbird the way one of the first books that I actually was able to read was when the X-Men came back for Up. Man, that was my joint.
Okay.
I read them off the rack.
Okay. Okay, Jamari.
This one's a toughie. So much of what I like about the X-Men is shaped between like that 90s run of X-Men comics and the 90s TV show. I am always and forever going to be in love with Storm.
Okay.
So that's just it. Colossus.
Beast. Okay.
Ever since first time I put coins in that old 6-player X-Men arcade game, and I put and the first character I picked was Colossus, and I'm like, yo, who is this dude with like metal skin?
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's 2.
Iceman.
Okay.
Because this dude is so
underrated.
No, he doesn't even understand how powerful he is. I've always liked Beast, particularly, and I will say my favorite version of Beast will always be the TV show cartoon version, because the intellectual guy who could rip your face off without a second thought has always that appealed to me. You know, he's this gentle giant who can just be absolutely ferocious when he wants to. I'm on 4.
That's 4.
That's 4. I gotta go with Gambit.
Okay.
Gambit, I like. I've so many iterations of him I like, from the old Street Fighter X-Men game to the cartoon to several of his stories in the comics. And so,
yeah.
Okay.
Because he was smooth, and when he came out and Jim Lee did him, X-Men were around like 270, 275 when he fought and had him down on the ground. I was like, oh, that's my man right here. I'm like, okay. I think it was around 275. They were in the danger room because they was when they had the yellow and blue and they fought in the danger room, and Gambit got the upper hand, and I was like, okay, he a beast. He definitely.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, Colossus almost not Colossus, Cyclops almost made my list.
Yeah.
You almost converted me.
Cyclops, he's a steady. I was mad when I did him dirty for a few years and had him being a villain and all kinds of other goofy stuff. But he is Charles Xavier's dream come true. To me, he is the one that's always going to dream. He's like his son. I'm like, if anybody knew what the dream was, it would be Psych to go off the rails, so to speak, and start doing some crab ball stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm done for him. Die down for a little bit.
All right. Let me see. Let me get my 5. Sync. I love Sync. I'm with you.
Yep.
I've liked Sync since Generation X.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Jesus. This is hard. Gambit. I'm Gambit. Okay. Archangel. I like Archangel.
Ooh, okay.
Storm. And then I will say Cyclops.
I'm surprised you didn't just put him immediately and just be done with it.
All right. No, man, I was letting I was building suspense. Y'all knew Cyclops was coming.
So he's your
favorite
all-time X-Man.
Oh no, Cyclops. Absolutely. Always been. Since Jump Street.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. I know it was a little late, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry about that. Like I said.
Hey man, that's all right, man. You can come on.
I'm still in my uniform, man. So
that's all right, man. You could come on top 5, man. I'm letting you know, man. The invitation is there. You let us know, man. You let us know, bro.
Definitely.
And let us so if anybody wants to find out about Advent Comics, if you look below, it's adventcomics.com. Go ahead.
We doing starting Monday. We're doing a Kickstarter for one of our books, 12 or Cosmos. Cosmos 7 launches on Monday, and it's a big, I won't say an event book, but it's on this book. Also, we got some guest stars appearing in the book, so favorite comic book characters from other companies appearing in the book. So check it out. Just take a look at it. Like I said, the Cosmos 7 over on Kickstarter starting Monday.
All right, I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. If you got another project coming out, holla at me. We could definitely work something out.
Oh, definitely 2023. So I'm gonna take you up on that, brother. If you're saying it legitly.
Oh yeah. Okay. All you gotta do is hit me up, man. Hit me up.
Okay, bet. Bet. I'll definitely do that.
Thank you. And to everybody who watched, thank you for tuning in to a Stoked podcast, Creative Talk of Creative People. Next week, I believe we have photographer and creative content creator, Conroy Williamson. And we got some other stuff coming out real soon. So, we got some other some other things coming up as we reach towards episode 50. I mean, I can't believe we're almost here. That's crazy.
Oh.
I know. And as always, if you want to support the cause, hit me up on my Cash App. I'll send you some cool stuff. Ben, thank you and have a great weekend, everybody. Love you all.
Thank you, everybody.